Perception and pattern recognition. Perception and pattern recognition are essential cognitive processes that allow humans to understand and interact with the world around them. Perception involves acquiring, organizing, and interpreting sensory information, while pattern recognition is the ability to identify regularities, structures, and meaningful arrangements within that sensory input. Together, these processes enable humans to navigate environments, respond to challenges, make decisions, and engage socially and cognitively. Understanding these processes provides insight into how people learn, solve problems, communicate, and make sense of complex stimuli in everyday life. Perception begins with the reception of sensory input through the 5 primary senses: vision, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Each sense provides unique information that contributes to understanding the environment. Vision allows detection of shapes, colors, depth, and motion. Hearing enables recognition of speech, music, and environmental sounds. Touch conveys information about texture, temperature, and pressure. Taste and smell identify flavors and odors, which guide eating behavior and environmental awareness. Sensory receptors convert physical energy, like light waves or sound vibrations, into neural signals that the brain can process, creating the foundation for perception. Once sensory input reaches the brain, perceptual organization occurs. The brain integrates information from multiple senses to form a coherent understanding of the environment. Attention plays a critical role by focusing on relevant information and filtering out distractions. For example, a person walking in a busy street can simultaneously identify cars, traffic lights, and pedestrians while ignoring irrelevant details. The ability to organize sensory information efficiently is crucial for accurate perception, learning, and problem-solving. Pattern recognition enables humans to identify meaningful structures in sensory input. It allows rapid identification of objects, faces, sounds, and written or spoken language. Recognition relies on previous knowledge and experiences, allowing the brain to match incoming information with stored patterns. For example, recognizing a familiar face in a crowd or understanding spoken language depends on the brain detecting patterns in visual and auditory input. This process often occurs automatically and unconsciously, supporting efficient cognition and behavior. Several principles influence perception and pattern recognition. Gestalt psychology emphasizes that humans perceive objects as unified wholes rather than isolated components. Principles such as proximity, similarity, continuity, closure, and figure-ground relationships guide how the brain organizes and interprets sensory input. Proximity refers to perceiving objects close to each other as part of a group, while similarity groups objects with shared features. Continuity leads the brain to perceive smooth patterns rather than disjointed fragments. Closure allows incomplete figures to be seen as whole, and figure-ground relationships help distinguish objects from backgrounds. These principles illustrate that perception is an active process shaped by both sensory input and cognitive organization. Top-down and bottom-up processes influence perception and pattern recognition. Bottom-up processing is driven by sensory data, building understanding from raw input, while top-down processing relies on prior knowledge, expectations, and experiences to interpret stimuli. For instance, a person reading a familiar word uses top-down processes to recognize it quickly, even if parts of the letters are obscured. Experience, learning, and context enhance pattern recognition by allowing individuals to detect subtle relationships, anticipate outcomes, and respond effectively to complex environments. Attention, memory, and cognitive biases further shape perception and pattern recognition. Selective attention determines which stimuli are noticed and which are ignored, affecting what patterns are detected. Memory provides a repository of experiences and learned patterns, aiding recognition and interpretation. Cognitive biases, including expectations or assumptions, influence how sensory input is understood, sometimes resulting in perceptual errors or illusions. These factors highlight that perception is not a passive process but an active interaction between the senses, brain, and prior knowledge. Pattern recognition is critical for problem-solving, learning, and social interaction. In daily life, recognizing regularities in behavior, language, and environments allows individuals to make predictions, understand social cues, and adapt to challenges. In professional or scientific contexts, identifying patterns in data, trends, or experiments supports reasoning, decision-making, and innovation. Even in artistic and cultural activities, pattern recognition helps appreciate rhythm, symmetry, and structure in music, visual arts, and literature. Developmental and aging factors influence perception and pattern recognition. Infants gradually acquire perceptual abilities, learning to recognize faces, voices, and objects. Children refine these skills through experience and cognitive development, enhancing attention, memory, and problem-solving. Adolescents and adults continue to improve pattern recognition through learning and practice. Aging may affect sensory acuity, attention, and memory, slowing information processing, yet accumulated experience often compensates, allowing older adults to recognize familiar patterns efficiently. In conclusion, perception and pattern recognition are vital cognitive functions that enable humans to acquire, organize, and interpret information. Sensory input, attention, memory, learning, and experience interact to create meaningful understanding of the world. Gestalt principles, top-down and bottom-up processing, and cognitive strategies illustrate the complexity and adaptability of these processes. By shaping how humans navigate environments, solve problems, communicate, and interact socially, perception and pattern recognition form the foundation of human cognition. Understanding these processes can improve attention, learning, decision-making, and overall interaction with the world. If you found this explanation helpful and informative, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more educational content.